I'm just picturing if Savannah's at her sister Annie's house yesterday,
Yeah.
and Annie's husband is there, Tommaso, and the sheriff shows up, the FBI shows up and seizes his vehicle, like that's an OMG moment.
Yeah.
They'd have to have a warrant.
Yeah.
Obviously they had to go into court and show that there was probable cause to get that warrant. What was in that probable cause affidavit from the law enforcement officer that suggested they had the right to seize his car? We know that,
Her
we
car.
believe, right, that Annie's car, right, but she's
Annie's
married
car.
to him, so it's
Yeah.
6 one way. But was it Annie or was it Tommaso or was it both? Do we
Good
know,
question.
Ashleigh, that dropped off the mother, Nancy, on Saturday night? I
I've heard
believe
both.
it was a church mahjong event, and they brought her home.
So I've heard it both ways. I've heard Annie dropped her off, and then I've heard that Annie and her husband dropped her off. And I've heard that both ways multiple times from the sheriff himself in news conferences too. So it is a little bit unclear, and I don't know if they're unclear. And quite frankly, I don't know if this many-hour meeting over at Annie's house yesterday, where the FBI was there, yielded a conversation, because most people would say, I think I need a lawyer here. This sounds weird. At least most people should say. Everybody should say.
Yeah.
I need a lawyer before I say hello. And that's innocent people. That's to protect the innocent. Let's be really clear. I'm always very mindful. It's not about guilty people trying to cover up, although often it is. But innocent people need to protect the way their words can also be used against them, even when they don't mean it a certain way. I shot the sheriff? Well, just put that in writing. It now says I shot the sheriff. You don't hear the inflection.
Yep. So, okay, so we know that they must have gotten a probable cause affidavit to go in there and seize the car, which they did,
Yeah.
Annie's car. And now, why do we believe, is it just that from the source, that the focus is on Annie's husband, whose name is Tommaso Cioni? I believe he's a native from Italy.
Yeah.
He's Italian born, and
Yeah.
he's 50 years old, but he's been married to Savannah's sister for, I guess, quite some time. He's 50 years old. He's from Tucson now. I mean, he's been living in Tucson. Do we know anything more about him?
Let me tell you about this strange thing that we found. He's got a bio that appears on a website for the Taparulan Cultural Association. That's a nonprofit based in Cremona, Italy. It's focused on promoting contemporary artists. It's about started in 2004. And this is what he quotes in his bio on that website. I was born in San Giovanni Valdarno on June 18th, 1975. Since 2006, I have lived in Tucson, Arizona. I write when I have the chance. I study lizards. I play the electric bass. I make homemade pasta. LinkedIn has him as a teacher at Basis Oro Valley School from 2007 to today. They say he's a primary instructor for 6th grade science and AP biology. And Reverb Nation, which is a website based on music, says he put out an album with a 3-man music group called Early Black. That music's still out there. But again, I've seen some pictures when he's with the 3 together, 3 guys. I don't know if that's the band. It kind of looks like a band picture. But yeah, apparently he's this bass player, electric bass, who's in a band called Early Black.
Do we know how long they've been married?
I don't know that. No.
Isn't she an older sister to Savannah, or no?
I'm not sure.
I think Savannah's my age exactly. I think
She's a little younger than me. If I'm 50, I think she's like 56, 55, something like that.
Well, I'm 55. Oh my God, when did that happen?
Oh,
so I think she's my age.
Wow. Look at this. This is crazy.
I'm pretty sure she's my age exactly. Savannah and I actually have a lot in common. It's kind of eerie.
We worked at Court TV together.
I know.
You know, I remember being in the bathroom, the ladies' room at Court TV, and Court TV was getting shut down. They were very kind to us. They gave us 9 months to find other jobs. And Savannah got a contact over at NBC, and I said, well, you got to call my friend so-and-so, and you're getting that job. You're getting that job, girl. And then she said to me later, I got the interview, and I got the job. I'm going to work at MSNBC. And I said, oh, no, you're going to host the Today Show. Mark my word. And we always talk about that. Whenever I talk to her, I'm like, yeah, don't ever question me again, sister, especially in a ladies' room.
Well, it's funny because I'm down here in D.C. today to interview the vice president. They allowed us to do our second hour from his ceremonial office here. It's beautiful. But
Nice.
when I first met Savannah Guthrie, it was at the Supreme Court because she was doing high court coverage for NBC and I was doing it for Fox, or she was at MS at the time. And now, all these years later, it's very strange. I was just back down here covering the Supreme Court for the big argument on boys and girls sports 2 weeks ago, and here I am covering this terrible tragedy for her. And it's like, at this point, Ashleigh, it's like, I don't know if there can be a good outcome. If they can find Nancy Guthrie and she's fine, that's it. And by the way, we do have a soundbite on that. The sheriff says he's holding out hope that that could still happen. This is played on the Today Show this morning. Here's SOT Zero.
This morning, the desperate search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie now entering its 4th day, with the Pima County Sheriff saying he's holding out hope Savannah's mom is alive.
We have nothing else to go on but the belief that she is here. She's present, she's alive, and we want to save her.
NBC News is aware of 2 reports of ransom notes sent to news organizations that reference Nancy Guthrie. NBC News has not seen those notes, and so far, no law enforcement agency has substantiated them. The Pima County Sheriff's Office saying it's also aware of the reports, adding, "We are taking all tips and leads very seriously."
The leads we've got coming in are critical to us. They're valuable, and we're sharing those with the FBI and others.
FBI agents are now working closely with local authorities. The Sheriff's Department says Guthrie had several cameras at her home, but it's still unclear if there's any footage from the overnight hours when she was believed to be abducted. They're also still trying to find any usable video from neighbors' homes.
From any usable video from neighbors' homes. And he seemed to speak to Sheriff Chris Nanos whether they did find any usable video from Nancy's home or elsewhere. In a way, again, that was cryptic. He's not the most clear on his communications. This is CBS Morning. Watch this here in SOT 3.
The sheriff also says surveillance video from Guthrie's home has led them nowhere so far.
None of the camera images have revealed to us anything of substantive nature. No.
Really? No. Anything?
No, it only goes so far back. And so we're giving it to those camera makers and saying, can you do something more with this?
I think I know what
does that
he means.
mean? Yeah, please tell me.
So, and I'm not a tech guru, but I know about Nest cams, and my source said they were Nest specifically. Said they were smashed and said they were Nest. And so my conversation on Monday with Sheriff Nanos was that they are working with the tech companies to get what's in the cloud, but that there were warrant issues, and it was taking a long time, and he was very frustrated working with the companies. He thought he'd have it back sooner, and by Monday night, he was annoyed that he didn't have it. Yesterday in the news conference, he seemed still to be frustrated, waiting on these images. And I believe that's because perhaps the device itself may hold maybe just the last hour, and they're looking for the history. And for that, maybe the family doesn't have the password, whatever it is to get in. That's my guess. But the fact that they know they're smashed would at least give you the last image of it being smashed. That doesn't mean it was smashed from the front. Maybe someone came in the back door and smashed that front camera from inside. So then you don't see who's doing it. Or they were completely draped in black, because everybody knows porch pirates know to drape themselves now because of cameras that can catch you coming up to them. Smashing them doesn't reverse what you've already seen. That's what I was thinking about that. But the other thing that I think is super key, and my source said to me specifically, 2 a.m. is the focus. And that's because of the pacemaker separation. The sheriff wouldn't go that far. He kept saying, well, we're still leaving it open, a wide window. I'm not going to narrow that window down for the public here. But my source said, oh, no, it is the separation of the pacemaker from the Apple devices that we believe is the moment she went out that doorway and was spirited away.
Yes, I mean, I think the rest of us had gleaned that, even though the sheriff wouldn't say it explicitly, but now your source is saying yes. And so can you just reiterate, was there any sort of caution given to you about saying Savannah's brother-in-law is or may be the prime suspect? Like, is that as good as saying, yeah, as Savannah may be, I may be, you may be? I mean, what's the worth of it?
Well, I want to tell you one other thing he told me, because there was some reports that were pulled back. Somebody reported, I think on Monday, that Mrs. Guthrie was dragged from her bed. And the sheriff came out and said that.
The sheriff said that. I listened to an interview when she said it.
Yeah. And he said, I didn't mean to be literally. And then he walked back that. And I couldn't get him to pinpoint an epicenter of the crime scene. Is it in the bedroom? Is it in the living room? Is it in the kitchen? Is it the front door? I couldn't get him to pinpoint that. He also wouldn't, on Monday when I did the interview, he would not confirmed there was blood inside the house, but my source has confirmed there was blood inside the house. Brian Enton has confirmed that there's outside. My source said outside as well, but we saw the pictures. So there's blood inside the house and there's blood outside the house. And and I want to be so careful with this because on my podcast, I said it over and over. Watch yourself. This is the language that's used. Son-in-law may be prime suspect now.
International disputes, inflation, rising national debt, digital currency. There is a never-ending list of reasons that gold has risen over 700% in the last 20 years. And a never-ending list of reasons smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals with Birch Gold Group. Gold can thrive during uncertainty, which is why it's a crucial part of a balanced strategy. It gives you peace of mind, given all the events that could impact the U.S. economy. See if holding gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account is right for you. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Just text MK to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, consider letting Birch Gold help you diversify with gold, so you too can have peace of mind regardless of the uncertainty. Text MK to the number 989898. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.